What's going on, YouTube universe? It's me, Too Much a Gay Guy here, and today we're going to have a special gear review, and you're probably wondering what it is. Maybe not, because you read the title of the dang thumbnail. Anyways, um, obviously I took a very special trip to Mount Kilimanjaro. If you don't know where that's at, it's in Africa, just in case. Anyways, so for this video, obviously the gear I selected had to be solid, reliable, and well, basically keep me protected from the changing elements that Kilimanjaro presents at all different elevations. So, if you're planning on climbing Mount Kilimanjaro anytime soon or taking some type of extreme adventure, this is the video for you. So stay tuned and find out what Too Much a Gay Guy packed for this amazing journey. So, don't mind if you hear any lawnmowers going. Summertime in the neighborhood, everybody's cutting their grass every single day. It's a little hot in here, a little sweaty, whatever. We're going to do this video. Alright, so for this gear review, let's start with clothing. I don't think I've ever talked about clothes before on the channel, so it's a first, but a necessity for this trip, and typically clothes are required when going outside for a hike, so let's talk about it. Before I start, I want to mention how I packed. I basically packed like I did in the military, and that was to save space, keep everything organized, basically keep it so I can grab and go when I need it, and make a quick change in the field. And each roll has basically underwear, socks, shirts, pants, and then whatever else I needed for that day. I even went ahead and labeled each roll, and this way all I had to do was pull the roll out, look at the label, and I would see that, okay, this is day one, this is day two, this is day three, all the way up to summit night. And let me tell you, it helped a lot, because on that mountain I was so tired that there were days where I had no interest in trying to find what I was going to wear for that day or the next day. So being able to see, look at, and just look at the label, I knew what it was. Day two, here we go. So with that out of the way, let's check out the clothes. Oh, by the way, that's pro tip number one for you. All right, first thing I wore was a pair of shorts by Outdoor Vitals called the Skyline Trail Shorts, size 2XL. Here you go. Not a lot of features on this. Very lightweight, breathable, very limited amount of pockets, and a very, very long drawstring. It's got two pockets and then one pocket on the inside, which is like a key pocket, holder of some sort. No back pocket. It does have these nice mesh inners. Not sure if you can see that. And then also on the side here, and obviously very breathable, lightweight, and not a lot of frills. So definitely good for day one, going through the hot, humid jungle slash rainforest, whatever you want to call it. But for a big, tough guy like me, staying cool is very important. Side note, I am now also an affiliate of Outdoor Vitals, so check out the link in the description. Buy some awesome outdoor gear. I've been buying from them since 2014, I believe, and stay tuned because one of my favorite items used on this trip is made by them as well. And I'll share that later when I go over what I wore for summit night. Alright, here we have the QU, I believe it's QU. These are the Merino, Ultra Merino boxer briefs they're called. Amazing briefs. Not much else to say here except when people say merino wool is great for odor control, legit. All right. The shirts especially, which we have up next here. This is the Ultra Merino Wool 120 short sleeve crew tee by QU as well. Um, these did amazing job for fast drying and odor control, like I just said. There was a day where I decided a short sleeve was in order because the temps just weren't as low as I thought yet. So instead of a long sleeve, I did the short sleeve. And so I grabbed the dirty one and took a little whiff. And amazingly, there was no smell. So, these are amazing compared to your nasty polyester shirts that hold that odor from like 3 years ago. Yeah. And I sweat like a champ. So I think about it and I'm sweating like I am now. So imagine the amount of sweat these soaked up, but held up very nicely. A bit pricey, but there's really no cheap merino wool products out there. And if there is, the quality probably isn't that good, more so trash. So spend the money. I also brought a few long sleeve versions, and this is pretty much my layer after like day 3. And pretty much had these on, I think, almost every day. So again, nothing different, just long sleeve, same material. Awesome, highly recommend. All right, next up are the socks. I wore some generic socks, sock liners from a company called Fox River. They have a wick dry technology and ultra lightweight. I will say no blisters. So I'm assuming they helped. I wore liners for other hikes and have been blister free. So I'll recommend these for all the hikers out there. Then we have the well-known Darn Tough socks, right? Everybody probably heard of these. They've been my go-to socks for years and have yet to disappoint. So another highly recommended item. Pants are next. And shockingly, the pants I wear are somewhat generic. I'm talking about Costco, Target, whatever pants that I have. Some stretch, which to me is very important. Nothing like wearing some tight ass pants while hiking and making you feel less mobile, right? So this pair is actually from Wrangler, surprisingly. And yep, they make these pants. I got these from Target specifically. I love them. They're stretchy. They have a little side pocket here, which is nice. And then these buttons at the bottom. They actually roll up and then you can button it together. Give yourself some extra breathability. And then I also had a second pair from Wrangler again. And also from Target. So basically the same style. The next pair I have are actually a well-known brand. And yes, after all that I just said, but I got an absolute deal on them. Clearance, I think from backcountry.com. These are Mountain Hardwear, lightweight pants. Really no extra pockets, but these were perfect for day 2, where the temps were still high enough for me to sweat. Unfortunately, I had an accident later in the bathroom, so I only got one day out of them. Maybe I'll tell you that story in the future Achilles video. Comment below if you want to know. Next, we have the Sahara Shade Hoodie by REI. I believe this was day 3 after figuring out that the sun is freaking brutal on the mountain. And my forearms, man, just turned purple, basically super burned. So I rocked this thing, and I think a QU short sleeve on top of it. And to be honest, I probably should have worn it day 1, 2, and probably 3. But either way, it did the job. Outside of daily wear, I wore this midway fleece by REI. Mostly when we got to camp later in the trip, especially during breakfast, dinner, lunch, etc. Nothing really special about it, but let me tell you, when you stop moving, that cold started to settle in real quick. And with this, plus my old military watch cap, this is by Condor. This kept me warm, so just make sure you're prepared for that. You'll get chilly pretty fast. As far as sleeping, I slept mostly in the QU briefs during early days, and then I added a long sleeve cotton t-shirt along with some generic polyester base layer pants from Dick's Sporting Goods. Never heard of the brand before. I don't even know if they make them anymore, but nothing special about these. And people said they were sleeping in almost all their layers from day 1, which was wild to me because sleeping bags are meant to hold in body heat. And you're basically preventing that from happening with the more layers you put on. So sleep with just your briefs. Pro tip number 2 for everyone out there. Less layers equal more warmth. All right, a couple little side pieces here that were pretty much a part of my daily wear. This hat by Outdoor Research, it's called the Sunrunner Cap. I'm pretty sure this saved my neck and ears from the ultimate sunburn during the whole trip. Very breathable due to these mesh panels here. And then it has a moisture wicking headband. And then also the sun skirt itself, which is removable. So you can just wear the hat itself. It does have a really nice drawstring on there, and up on that mountain it's just super windy at times, so definitely came in hand during those high winds, keeping the hat secure. But I was also able to attach this small nanofiber towel by Matador, and this basically gave me quick access to wipe sweat off my face, clean my sunglasses, and yeah, it was just a good combo. Speaking of which, I wore these Sunski polarized Ferrata sunglasses. One of the coolest features, which unfortunately I can't show, but I'll probably insert a picture, are the shields that go on the side. So they fit in these 2 little holes here. And it's magnetic, and they flip up, flip down, and provide a really good side shield for you from the sunlight. A little bit of wind resistant, but they are perforated. So, and then there's this little leather piece, which I do have, that goes into the middle here, and that also blocks out some additional light. So very good at blocking sun. Very wide lenses, fit my face very well. I would highly recommend these. Again, Sunski Ferrata, and yeah, very limited scratches on there, and I thought there'd be more from all the wind blowing around, the dust, and all that good stuff, but they held up well. I also had this little Australian merino wool towel attached to my backpack, and let's see if you can see that. This is made by a small carriage company called Glacial Gear, and I purchased this on Garage Grown Gear, which is a well-known ultralight gear carrying company. Mostly they represent a lot of the smaller companies out there. Great website, and I probably spent thousands, like thousands of dollars. So someday maybe they'll sponsor me. But I will tell you, I do have an affiliate link, so feel free to go down in the description again if you want some ultralight stuff. Check out their website. Hook me up. I wore these gloves by mechanics, and I will say these may or may not have prevented some blisters or hot spots on my hands. They probably did, mostly because of the hiking poles, and um, I used them every day. You will probably use them every day, so make sure you got some good gloves. And then they also helped for the rock scrambling that we did. Kept my hands well protected from that. I did bring this buff here by My Medic, which is pretty cool because it has some diagrams on there, but I only used it once, and that was for a cold morning at some point. But other than that, my plan was to use it for the descent due to the dust, but I needed all the oxygen that I could get and couldn't have something like this covering my face. But pretty cool that it does have these little diagrams on here, kind of give you some ideas of how it can be used, and you'll be surprised what it can be used for. All right, now the important part. What did I wear for summit night? I'll say this is going to vary for a lot of people. When I say I love the cold and I hate the heat, I mean it, absolutely mean it. So while a lot of people were freezing and sounded like they were basically dying, I had a slight sweat going on, but here's what we got. So I started with this very special pair of briefs by a company called Brynja. These are their super thermo boxer shorts, base layer with a wind cover. that's that's me winking. Um, these provide serious moisture control, which I needed surprisingly at this point. Well, the rest is a mesh design that's supposed to trap heat and then still release moisture. It's an interesting design for sure. They have this wind panel here, and that's to protect your sensitive parts. I purchased these on Garage Grown Gear as well, and honestly, I probably could have gotten away with the QU, but I knew it was going to be a long day and different weather, so chose these for summer night. Next, we have a merino wool layer as well, but this is by Backcountry. Don't ask me why I got another set other than the QU, but I don't know. I felt like I needed to. These are a little bit cheaper too, so I'll have to say Backcountry for the win. Just a pair of bottoms, nothing special, and then also the top as well. Then we have my fleece-lined pants made by a company called Orvis. Um, just some generic pants I got from Costco a long time ago. But they did a superb job on the summit, and really no special features there. They do have a little side pocket on the side, and that's it. The next layer was this lightweight fleece by Senchi Designs, all polyester. And the polyester is made by a company called Polartec. I know this name from my military days and going through a lot of cold weather. I knew this would be very reliable. And on the summit night, this version here is called the Alpha 90. And guess where I purchased this? Garage Grown Gear. That's right. But ultimately, it kept me very warm. I liked it. My final layer consisted of rain/wind pants by Marmot. This was another clearance deal, possibly from backcountry.com, or I think it's called Steep and Cheap. I'm not 100% sure. Nothing special about these except they do zip all the way down. I wanted a pair that had ultimate ventilation, and if needed, I could just zip them off and not have to worry about taking off my boots. So these did an amazing job. Now, this item was amazing. This is the Nova Pro UL down jacket by Outdoor Vitals. A lot of features on this. Packs down very light. Packs down into its own pocket, making it very easy to transport and carry. Has a very high neck area, so it'll cover all the way up pretty much to your chin. One very important feature for me was the underarm vents, which I ended up using ascending and descending the mountain to keep my temperature regulated. Also, the hood is adjustable. You can see here. Also on the back. The stitching, I have to say, made this thing pretty much windproof. And it definitely got tested, especially at the summit. I remember feeling this crazy wind at the fall summit and thinking, wow, this jacket is really blocking the wind. Which led to me not having to wear the hard shell rain jacket by Black Diamond. The pockets are even insulated, which is pretty cool. And then it also has this little thumb, and this will just give you an extra layer of protection and heat, which more than likely you're going to need. The last feature is just this very large backside, not large backside, but extended backside. This will actually go down further than the front side and help keep your backside warm. Overall, this jacket did amazing. It kept me warm all throughout the night and definitely at the summit. Again, I do have an affiliate link with Outdoor Vitals, so check out the link in the description if you really want some good quality outdoor gear. Next, we have a pair of smart wool gloves. They have the little touch sensitive area for your phone, so you can operate your phone or anything that has a touch screen. These definitely kept my hands warm, and yeah, smart wool, thermo, so another great item. On top of the smart wool gloves, I wore the Enlightened Equipment Tord mitts, which did a great job and allowed me to have some motion due to the mitts flipping out. They also have a bungee cord in the back that'll help you keep them nice and snug. So with the smart wool, the Tord mitts, and even the Outdoor Vitals jacket with the little thumb, kept my hands very, very warm. So instead of the buff that was pretty much suffocating me, I wore this generic balaclava, whatever you call it. It was loose enough to stay away from my face and let me breathe, but also very warm. Just another layer on top of my head, including the hood from the Outdoor Vitals jacket. But just a generic brand. I think I got it from Target years ago. I also wore a pair of gaiters from Outdoor Research, and they're pretty popular, so you probably know what they are. I just don't have them here with me right now. But that added another layer of protection, but also prevented dirt, rocks, all that good stuff on the descent, which, trust me, you're going to need them. All right, one of my most important purchases were the Keen Targi, I think, or Targi 4 mids. Not only did they keep my feet in good shape, but warm as well. Prior to the trip, I tested out the Keens versus the Merrell Moab 3 mid GTXs. I did like both of them, but the Merrells had a little bit of, let's say, like a raised heel on them. And I'm typically wearing zero drop shoes, so I could definitely feel that difference. The Keens are nice and flat. I did have one issue with the Keens, and for some reason, it was like under my big toe. I kept getting a soreness. So, what I did was went out and purchased a different insole, and that insole is by Superfeet. I took the Keen insoles out, put the Superfeet. These are the hike cushions. I put those in, did a couple hikes, and I had no pain whatsoever after that. So the Keens and the Superfeet hike cushions combination, mwah, did great. I had no foot pain during the entire hike, no blisters, and my toes weren't beat up, especially during the descent. So I'm telling you, if you get a chance, get yourself some Superfeet. The combo with any probably pair of boots will be stellar. And speaking of Superfeet, guess who sent me a pair to replace those? I told them what the trip was, asked if they want to sponsor it, but instead they sent me a brand new pair of the hike cushions. Thinking about doing a giveaway possibly, so if you wear a size 13, let me know down in the comments, or I could put them in the Merrells and see if they work well with those. But let me know down in the comments if you're interested in the size 13 hike cushions, and maybe I'll do a quick giveaway. Okay, that's it for Summit, and like I said, depending on how you deal with cold, more layers may be needed, but for me, this system is what kept me warm, almost too warm for Summit. I believe the temp low was probably around 15 degrees, probably colder with the wind chill, but it was also warmer than I thought it would be, so that's all the layers I had. Some items I didn't wear, but we'll give a honorable mention to is the Enlightened Torrid hoodie and pants. So here's the pants. I was planning on some really cold weather, but didn't get any, so no need for the pants, but very lightweight down pants, probably amazing. And then I also had the Enlightened hoodie. As you can see here, very nice headgear. It's got some snaps. You can snap these closed around your neck, and then it also has a little cinch cord on the back that will tighten this around your head, and slightly a little bit of a hoodie there, or not a hoodie, but extension there, kind of give you some coverage over your head. But very lightweight, probably good to wear to bed if you're one of those individuals that get cold at night. I also had these generic heavy winter pants. Didn't wear those. Definitely not cold enough for me, but had them just in case. And again, didn't need them. Then we have these down booties by Western Mountaineering. Probably would have been amazing to wear, but I didn't need them. Again, super warm for me. But they do have again, another bungee system on top to tighten up. A little bit of a hard shell on the bottom. Probably get ripped pretty easily, but probably would have, again, been great for sleeping. Oh, one more thing. Not for Summit, but camp in general, camp shoes. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is this, right? Well, shout out to Jamal. He was able to give me a new idea. And Jamal was my roommate during the trip at the hotel. And before we went out on the hike, he broke these out. And these are just your typical, I believe, like hospital covers that they put over their shoes. But the idea is, before packing in the morning, because you're not putting these in your day hike bag, you're putting these in your duffel that the porters carry. And it gets muddy around camp, dusty around camp. So you just don't want these touching everything else in your bag. Here you go. Hospital covers for your little shoes. I guess they're called like booties. I don't know. With that though, my camp shoes were just a pair of Sanooks. Nothing special. They were able to slip on my foot pretty easily. And there's that dust I'm talking about. These held up great. Perfect for going to the bathroom, going to dinner, lunch, breakfast, but definitely want to bring some camp shoes. All right, so that's pretty much the clothing, I think. So it's time to get into the actual gear. All right, so what gear did I actually bring? Well, where to start? I didn't have a lot of fancy gear with me, but it's gear, so here we go. Start with my dry bags by Sea to Summit. I had, I think, 3 total dry bags by Sea to Summit, and I used one for my dirty clothes because you're going to want to keep those separate from your clean clothes. And then I also had my bag for my sleeping bag, and in there I kept my 2 pillows and my liner. And then my third bag was used for like my down winter gear, so I was able to smash all that down and keep it very compact. Definitely want to bring some dry bags. They not only help keep your gear dry, but also everything very compact. You're able to pull the strings down and basically shrink it all down to the size of a football, depending what you have, but typically that was the size I got. But yep, dry bags. Speaking of sleeping bags, here we have the Sea to Summit 15-degree bag. Obviously, I'm a big guy, so my goal was to find a sleeping bag that would fit my shoulders, allow me to toss and turn. I do have the Nemo Disco that I typically use, but for some reason I felt like I needed another bag, and this one was on my list for a good while. Obviously, I got a good sale on it and made the purchase. It has a ton of features. You can unzip both sides, and basically what that does is turn it into a quilt, which I actually used as on day 1 and day 2. It has something they call the free flow zipper system, and this gives you multiple configurations. You can even unzip the foot box, and you can attach these buttons here, and basically what that allows you to do is wear it around camp like a blanket. So your feet will be out the bottom, your arms will be out hanging, but the sleeping bag will still be attached. It is a 750 fill power, and like I said, rated down to 15 degrees. It does have a small pocket inside, which will help you keep your items like your cell phone or maybe your battery nice and warm. I actually laid out both my Nemo and this Sea to Summit Ascent bag, and both were pretty much the same, with one having basically the Ascent just has more features, and I could also fit my pillow in the top, which I think you could do with the Nemo as well. But yep, that's the Sea to Summit Ascent bag. Then we have the Sea to Summit Reactor Liner. This meant to add a additional warmth for cooler nights with its Thermo Pro fabric. I used it every night, and has the same feature. You can actually wear this around camp as well because it has the button feature here for your arms, cinches down around your neck, and then it has a cinch foot box, and that you can cinch all the way down to keep your footsies nice and warm, or you can open it wide and allow your feet to come out and do a little dance around camp. But that is the Reactor Liner from Sea to Summit. All right, next we have my 2 pillows, and because of these damn wide shoulders, I need a lot of lift to keep my head kind of straight. So the first one we have here is the Enlightened Equipment pillow. Nothing special. I think I got this for free when I ordered some crap on Garage Grown Gear. It has some sticky spots on the bottom here that'll kind of stick to the sleeping mat, sleeping pad, whatever you want to call it. And then it also has the strap here, also bungee style with a little clip that allows you to tighten it down. So my second pillow is the Nemo Fill. This has a lovely thick layer of foam and can be packed away inside itself in this bag here. I did struggle a little trying to keep these from slipping most of the night, especially on the mat, which was a X-Bed mat, I think, provided by the guide company. I even used the something called a pillow strap, and this would be the pillow strap. So what I would do is take the Nemo, put the pillow strap cover on top, and then wrap this around the Enlightened Equipment pillow, and then use the strap for the Enlightened Equipment pillow around the sleeping pad. And this did a pretty good job. So all three of these, good combo. Let me sleep comfortably at night. If you're a big guy like me, highly suggest bringing your own pillows. If not, and you're comfortable just rolling up your clothes and putting them in a bag and sleeping on those, you could probably get away with that as well. Okay, let's take a look at my personal hygiene bags. Here we have two storage sacks by Gossamer Gear. These are made of a Tyvek material, lightweight, and this one, let's take a look at and see what I had inside. So inside, some deodorant, some powder for, keep things from getting a little wet, and then I also had toothpicks, Q-tips, small toothbrush, small razor, which I didn't use, and then these little cold shower field towels by Duke Cannon. Plenty of companies out there that sell something like those. I brought some Dr. Bronner's soap. I don't think I use that either. They do provide some hand washing soap at least. These, I think they're called Unitabs, or no, Unpaste. Unpaste toothpaste tablets. Worked very well. Also on Garage Grown Gear. And a little mirror, which I didn't use either, but nice to have just in case I want to check myself out. And then these little towelettes that you would just drop some water on and they expand, and you could use it as a towel or a wipe, whatever you want. I did put my aqua tabs in here. I only used these on day one. After that, I was too tired to even worry about it. And also some of these Breathe Right nose strips. I was worried about snoring, and somehow I didn't snore on the mountain. Let's check out what's in this one. This is a smaller one, so I think I kept mostly my eye care in there. So I had a contact case, Purell hand sanitizer, some saline, some eye drops, moisten my eyeballs, some more wipes, more towelettes, and that was pretty much it. So, oh, and then I also kept extra contacts in there. So that's it for my personal hygiene bags there. Let's check out this guy. One of my favorite bags here. This is my poop kit, obviously, if you can't tell. This is made by Space Bear Bags. It's a Dyneema fabric, so very ultralight. Inside, I had my trowel. This is a Deduce number 2, ultralight. And on top of it, I have a Jericho, I think it is, Jericho Gear Yep, Jericho gear, and it's called the Driver. And what this does is kind of gives you some extra protection for when you're digging those holes, but it also has a spot for tent stakes. So when you're driving into tent stakes, you got more protection for your hands. Great piece of gear, very thoughtful, and guess what? Garage grown gear. So get yourself one. Some wipes, wet wipes. Saved the day. These saved the day. I had a lot of issues on the mountain, so definitely bring some wet wipes, hand sanitizer, and again, some of these little tablets here. But that's my poop kit. Here we have some biodegradable hygiene bags for those trail breaks. The trail breaks they called sending email or sending text, which basically meant poop or pee. Amazingly, I didn't go off trail once, and I'm not sure how. I made it to camp every single day. But what these are meant to do is basically allow you to stuff your used products in here, zip them up. They have this little front pocket here, and that you can carry some wipes or your rubber bands that come with them. And what you'll do is zip up your nastiness and then take a rubber band, put it on there. And what you'll do is basically take this with you. And trust me, there's a lot of stuff on the mountain, and let's not be one of those people that adds to that. So take your yuckies with you, and that's what they're called, your yuckies. I'll be taking these on future trips, and if you want to get some, you probably know where to get them by now. Next, I have my Foozy pouch, which is a thermal pouch. As you can see, this is the Thermal Capsule XP3, and what I do is I use this for my cell phone, put that in there at night, and give it some extra love. Keep it nice and warm, keep that battery juice a little bit higher, because as you know, or may not know, cold weather just depletes your batteries typically, especially on your cell phones, external batteries and whatnot. It has this little pocket inside for some small accessories. Not sure if you can see that, but again, Foozy Thermal Capsule 3. I actually use this in Hawaii to prevent it from overheating as well, sitting in the sand. So, Foozy. Next, we got our headlamp. This is the Petzl Actic Core headlamp. Pretty basic. Um, Actually, not basic at all. It's pretty freaking cool. 600 lumen max, and it does have white and red light. So red LED, obviously, for to help you keep your night vision at night, not to blast anybody out in your campsite as well. What I like about it is it's a hybrid. So it comes with these little rechargeable batteries. They do use a USB micro cable, which is pretty rare these days, but I actually have 3 of them, and one of these lasts me the entire trip. And when I say hybrid, I mean you can use these, and if you don't have any, guess what? You can use your old school AAA batteries. I believe it takes 3 of them. But again, this is the hybrid Petzl headlamp, the Actic. Good choice. Oh, one last thing. You can put your headlamp in this little bag here, hang it up on top of your tent, and it provides a nice soft glow for your tent. And I used it in mine, and it worked very well. Okay, here we have a simple cork ball. And this is a cork massage ball that I use mostly for my feet at night. I'll just rub my feet down in the tent, keep them nice and stretched out, and work out those knots. This is made by Rawology and also sold on Garage Grown Gear. Now, for communication, I put my phone in airplane mode the whole time, not a lot of service, and a lot of people use the InReach Mini 2. I have yet to purchase that, and for me, I brought the Spot. This is the Spot GPS Messenger. I forget which one it is, what it's called. I think they have like 3 different ones at this point. They've been around for a while, but this does exactly what I needed to do. And one feature is tracking. There's a tracking button here, a check-in button, another check-in type of button, which I'll explain. Then you have your SOS here, and this button here, which I believe this button is used for is like I need help but not emergency help. For water, I use the Platypus Big Zip EVO 2-liter water bladder along with this cover for the mouthpiece, and no leaks the whole time. It has a quick release here, and that made it a lot easier to put this in a bag and then route this through your backpack. Typically, I'm not a fan of the bladders just because they had a lot of issues with leaks in the past, but no leaks here again. This was a great choice for the hike. I did have some concern for the freezing, so one reason I added this cover here, but also this generic one that I got off of You Got It. I didn't have any freezing the whole entire summit night, so obviously it worked. No leaks. Has this little locking piece that slides on the top, and this piece here, which will squeeze and allow you to open that mouth nice and wide so you can get water in there easily. And then it has this little piece here that keeps it pretty much spread out when you're drying the bag. A lot of bags will just lay flat, and then you wind up getting that mold and nastiness in there. So one important thing about this cover, and probably the other main reason I got it, was they tell you not to let your mouthpiece hit the ground, and more than likely that's because of the waste that runs down the mountain. A lot of pee and poop in that water, so if you put this on the ground, your mouthpiece will be protected, but also be protected from the dust and dirt typically that you'll get on a mouthpiece, especially because it seems like everything sticks to rubber. But with this cover, I didn't have no problems with that. Kept all that crap out of my mouth. But highly suggest Platypus EVO water bladder. Held up well. Next I had the Migo Mazanda. This is actually created by Miranda Goes Outside, and if you're a YouTube backpacking fanatic, you know exactly who she is. This was made to replace the popular smart water bottles that a lot of hikers use on the trail, but it has some really good features that a smart water bottle doesn't have. One, including this wide mouth opening, lets you clean it out easily, lets you fill it easily, but a good feature there. And then it has this cap that comes with it, not attached. So that was one of my worries. So what I did was I purchased this tethered bottle cap, and this is made by Ingenious and fits perfectly on the lid here. You can see nice and tight. I believe this is like a 3D printed cap as well, so a lot of companies are going that route. It has your labeling on the side, and one thing that I really like about it is that this can handle boiling water. So go ahead and try to put boiling water to a smart water bottle, but you put it in this, and which I did at night, kept me nice and warm, but also just had water for the next morning, but it can handle boiling water. Again, the Mazama Migo. Real quick, I wanted to talk about the electrolytes I brought. They were made by a company called Mountain Hops, and they're made to be taken with or without water, so you could just dump the powder right in, or mix it with some water. Highly disappointed. Don't suggest. Mountain Ops. Not sure if it's elevation issue, but the packets would harden up, like moisture got inside, so I wasn't able to easily just dump them into the water. Um, I didn't hear anybody else had that issue. Luckily, I was able to borrow some liquid IV from another hiker that brought extras, but again, Mountain Ops, sorry. So, how did I carry my snacks? Well, I carried them in this guy here. This is the Almonds Right bag. This is, well, it's made by Almonds Right, but it's called the Bajorn Food Bag. Super lightweight, made out of Dyneema, and if you know, you know. And one feature about this is that it has these kind of like D-rings at the top. So once you roll it up, put your button on there, roll it, snap it, and then if you've ever hung a bear bag, you can actually use these carabiners, and what that does is takes a lot of stress off the strap here. It also has a reflective bottom, and if you've ever tried to find a food bag in the middle of the night, you know how difficult it is, so it's very helpful to have that reflective strip. What about electronics? Well, I got you. Here I just had a generic dry bag, and this is pretty much what I kept all my electronics in. Just dump it all out. First up, we have the Nightcore Carbo 20,000 milliamp battery. Has a USB-C and USB-A, I believe it is, and lightweight compared to a lot of 20,000 milliamp batteries. But this thing charged my phone 4.5 times, which is plenty of times on the mountain. Held up great. I used the iPhone 16 Pro, so the battery was nice, and again, I had it in airplane mode the whole time, so didn't really drain a lot of battery, but I took a lot of video and pictures, so that did the job. Then we have the Dark Energy 10,200 milliamp battery. These are supposed to be ultra tough, waterproof. You can run over them, probably throw it off the mountain, it might survive, I don't know, but I use this in the hotel most of the time, so if you want Dark Energy, 10,200 milliamp. I will say a lot of people ran out of juice on the mountain. Not everybody, but to the point where they had to find a ranger station to charge their equipment, and I would not rely on that. They do cost money to charge, so get yourself a good battery and don't worry about that. I brought a generic lavalier mic, USB-C for the iPhone. I was able to use this from here and there. If you're worried about memory, I suggest the Lexar 1TB Professional Go USB portable SSD hub. I only used it once because my iPhone has plenty of storage, but just in case I needed it, I feel like this was a good option. Check it out online. It's got a lot of cool features and attachments if you're a mobile creator. Also have this little bag here, just a bunch of accessories, remote control for the iPhone, some attachments that I use for my hiking poles, which I'll show you here soon, and then this little multi-tool to tighten things up as necessary. Then I had this smart rig, or small rig USB-C cord with 3 chargers on there. Very tough cable. So the attachments I was talking about were for my Ulanzi. My Ulanzi TT35 hiking stick tripod system. It actually comes with 3 hiking poles, but I only brought 2 because to make it a tripod, all I had to do was take this other one, put this on the bottom, and it turned into basically a standing tripod itself. I did make a video about the system itself, so you can check that out here or there, wherever it is, but a great system. I used my Peak Design mount for the phone. Let's see here if I can show you real quick, but goes with the case, clicks on the back, voila. And I put this on my hiking pole, so that was my system pretty much, my whole camera system. Peak Design Mobile Go Kit. Attached to my pack was the Govee Bluetooth hydrometer thermometer sensor. This allowed me to keep track of, obviously, humidity and temperature throughout the trip. So with that, I was able to see that the temps range between 90 and 15 degrees. Highly suggest. Still works. Been working for like 2 years, and I haven't had to replace the battery yet. Okay, we're almost at the end, I promise. Kudos to you if you made it this far. But here's my pack. This is the Mountain Smith Zerk. Mountain Smith Zerk 40. Super lightweight. Bunch of features. I tested this against a REI bag and a Mystery Ranch bag, and this was the winner. Tons of accessories. It has front pouches on the strap itself, 4 of them all together. They did really nice, holding like snacks and my phone and other little doodads. 2 side pockets, cinch down, great for water bottles. A little hip belt if needed, and then it's a roll top. Roll it down, clip in the sides, clip on the top, keeps it secure, and it has a nice bungee cord to stick other things in, like my rain jacket, and then this nice stretchy mesh pocket in the front, which I was able to keep a lot of other good things in. But overall, this bag did great. Honestly, I'll be honest, I used it like 1 or 2 days because I ended up getting sick, whatever, and my porter had to carry it for a while. So, but it's a great bag. Great experience with it when I used it, but highly suggest. Last up is my daughter Aviant 90-liter bag. You can see this thing got some wear and tear, but it held up. I love it. This has plenty of pockets, 1 on both ends, 1 internally here, 1 on top, and I like the straps because obviously you can carry it like a backpack, but you can unbuckle them to give you full access to the interior. Great bag, held up well. Not a very popular brand. I haven't seen a lot of videos on them, but great choice. I think the last thing is just a plain plastic bag. I put this inside the duffel. I put all my dry bags in it. Any extra clothing, just as an extra layer of rain protection. Amazingly, we didn't get any rain the whole entire 8 days, so we got pretty lucky. But better to be safe than sorry, especially with getting your gear wet and being on a mountain for that long. So, all right, well, I think that's it. And obviously, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments below. Most of the items are listed in the description, or at least should be. Unfortunately, I don't have a Amazon storefront yet, but like I said, I am an affiliate. I'm an affiliate for Amazon, affiliate for Outdoor Vitals, affiliate for Garage Grown Gear. And if you're interested, check those sites out for those items. You know, purchase some of those things. I may get a little something, but that'll help us continue to grow the channel, just like everyone else says. And hopefully continue to share more amazing gear reviews for your viewing pleasure. At the current time, I'm over 400 subscribers, so if you aren't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Well, that's it. So until next time, Too Much a Geek Guy, out.